developments today on the war in Ukraine after yesterday's historic peace talks at the White House. President Trump says he is now organizing a meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and Russian President Vladimir Putin, where the two will discuss exact details of an agreement before a trilateral meeting, including President Trump. So far, few details on the framework have been revealed, but one thing every leader at yesterday's summit agreed on: the deal must include some type of security guarantee for Ukraine, with one option being a security agreement that mirrors Article 5 of NATO, where an attack on Ukraine would be considered an attack on all NATO countries. NATO Secretary General saying the commitment of Europe should be a message to Putin.
Europe and the US are united, and that the Europeans are now spending more and equalizing their spending with the US, but also a signal to Moscow that we are serious.
But for now, the war is still raging in Ukraine, with Moscow launching its largest attack of the month just hours after the peace talks there at the White House, firing nearly 300 drones and missiles at key Ukrainian infrastructure. We are covering all of this today with team coverage in both D.C. and Ukraine. We start today with Kellie Meyer, live for us outside the White House. Kellie, the president wants peace to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. And even hearing more from that meeting between the leaders and President Trump yesterday, some were saying, OK, let's catch up in a month or two. And President Trump saying, no, we have to do this now. And he got on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin and pushed ahead. That's what we're seeing now, is where this goes next. And it seems as though it's going to be a bilateral meeting between Putin and Zelenskyy first, before it moves on to a trilateral meeting between the three: Trump, Putin, and Zelenskyy. What we don't know today is when exactly that will happen, how soon it might happen. But of course, President Trump is pushing for it sooner rather than later, as you mentioned. The last time you see here that the two met, the first and only time really that Zelenskyy and Putin met, was back in 2019. You see them there. So this could be the second meeting between the two. President Trump this morning was talking about how he sees their relationship. Take a listen to this.
I think they're doing okay. I wouldn't say they are ever going to be best friends, but they're doing okay. And we're just going to see. So we're setting up a meeting. I sort of set it up with Putin and Zelenskyy. And, you know, they're the ones that have to call the shots. We're 7,000 miles away, in all fairness.
So this was the scene here at the White House yesterday. Leaders meeting in the East Room for really this unprecedented summit, as we said yesterday, Nichole. European leaders, along with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy, they were here for several hours yesterday before they then moved over to the Oval Office. That's when Trump called Putin separately, then met again with those leaders before they departed. Zelenskyy shortly after held a press conference for Ukrainian media across the street here at the White House, saying that he just doesn't have a date yet for that meeting, but he is open to meeting with Putin. So we'll continue to watch that. He also met with with leaders at the Ukrainian embassy as well. He did call this a major step forward in trying to bring this war to an end. Nichole.
A major step forward. Kellie, at this point, what is the president saying about the possibility of U.S. troops being involved?
Yeah, and this is something that we were talking about yesterday and wondering what the president's stance on this was, really. At first, he was saying that he really didn't support any kind of U.S. security guarantees, meaning military support for Western forces on the ground in Ukraine to prevent Russia from invading in the future. He did seem to shift his stance in terms of supporting forces there, though he did say just this morning that it won't mean U.S. boots on the ground. Take a listen to this.
Well, you have my assurance, and I'm president, and I'm just trying to stop people from being killed, Charlie. Look, they're losing from 5,000 to 7,000 people a week in that ridiculous war that should have never happened.
So there you heard him say there will be no U.S. forces on the ground there, but he will support some sort of peacekeeping mission when it means Western forces, other European forces there on the ground. Nichole.
All right, Kellie Meyer, live for us there in D.C. All right.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.